Same AI, same prompt. The answer on the left is generic mush. You've seen 100 like it. The answer on the right could go to a client right now. It knows what I sell. It knows what I charge. It sounds like me. Nothing about the AI changed. No clever prompt. The only difference is 5 files. Let me show you. In the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to build those 5 files with you live on screen in Claude Cowork. It's called a company brain, a tone of voice file, project instructions, a couple of SOPs and 1 folder of raw data. By the end, you'll know exactly how to build your own. This afternoon, if you like. No code, nothing extra to buy. First, let's talk about why your AI feels rubbish, because I bet it does. You've tried ChatGPT, maybe Claude, maybe one of those tools that promise to write all your marketing, and everything it gives you needs rewriting. It sounds like a press release from a company you've never met, so you fix it yourself every time. Here's the thing, that's not you failing at AI. An MIT study found 95% of company AI pilots show no measurable return. 95%. And the SBE Council found in March that the median small business is juggling 5 AI tools. 5! And the owners say they feel busier, not freer. So if AI hasn't stuck in your business, you're the rule, not the exception. You're not behind, not yet anyway. Now, here's the bit that should annoy you. A brand new model came out this week, Fable 5, smartest one Anthropic have ever shipped, supposedly. I ran my test prompt through it with no files attached. Still mush, smarter mush, but mush. Because the model never was the problem. The AI didn't know your business, it can't read your mind, and no prompt is long enough to fix that. The fix is what it can see. One more thing before we build. Of the 5 files I'm about to make, one made more difference than the other 4 combined. It's not the one you'd guess, and it's the easiest one of the lot, because you don't actually write it. I'll show you which one near the end. Right, screen on. This is Claude Cowork. If you've not seen it before, it's Claude running on your computer with access to folders you choose. That folder access is the whole trick. I'm starting with one empty folder called Brain, and inside it 4 things. A voice file, an instructions file, a folder of SOPs, and a folder called Raw. That's the entire architecture. No database, no vector anything, just files in a folder written in plain English. And yes, before you ask, the principle works in other tools too. Anywhere that AI can read your file. I'm using Cowork because it's what I actually run my business on most of the time, and you're about to see that business. One rule before we start, everything goes in as plain text or markdown. Word documents work, but plain text is small, fast, and AI never misreads it. Right, file 1, the tone of voice file, the one everyone's heard of and almost nobody does properly. The mistake is writing adjectives. We're professional yet approachable. That tells the AI nothing. Every business on earth thinks it's professional yet approachable. Here's what actually works. 3 sections. Section 1, how you talk. Real rules. Mine says short sentences, British English, always. No corporate waffle and never ever an EM dash. Those long hyphens that aren't even on your keyboard. Be that specific. If you never say reach out, write never say reach out. Section 2, real examples. This is the part that does the heavy lifting. Paste in 5 or 6 bits of writing that sound exactly like you. An email you were proud of. A paragraph from your website you actually wrote yourself. The AI learns more from 6 real examples than from a page of adjectives. Section 3, the banned list. Every phrase that makes you cringe, for me that's delve into, game changer. I hope this email finds you well. Yours will be different, write them down. Now watch what this one file does on its own. Same prompt as the cold open. Follow-up email to a prospect who's gone quiet. Look at that, the corporate padding's gone. Short sentences, it even sounds slightly impatient, which, fair enough, is accurate, but notice what it still can't do. It doesn't know what the proposal was. It doesn't know what I sell or what anything costs. The voice is right and the content is empty. That's why a tone of voice file on its own disappoints people. It's 1 file out of 5. Next, file 2, project instructions, or call it the company context file, because that's what it is. This is the briefing you give a new employee on day 1, especially except you only write it once. What the business does in 2 sentences, who the customers are specifically, what you sell with actual prices, what you never do, and the current focus, what matters this quarter. Mine says 80/20 AI helps established small businesses find where AI actually pays. It names my diagnostic session and what it costs. It says who it's for and, just as important, who it's not for. The what we never do section matters more than you'd think. Mine includes never promise AI will cut headcount. Never quote a client result without permission. The AI respects those lines, but only if they're written down. 2 tips. Put in numbers, prices, timescales, response times. Vague content produces vague output. And date it. Put last updated June 26 at the top and change it when things change. A stale brain is worse than no brain because it's confidently wrong. Same prompt again. Now look. It names the actual offer, it mentions the real price, the email finally has a point. 2 files in and it's already better than anything you'll get from prompting alone. And this would work with any AI. Quick checkpoint. 2 files down, 3 to go. SOPs next, then the raw folder. And remember, one of the remaining 3 is the file that beat all the others, the one you don't write. Stay with me. Files 3 and 4. SOPs, standard operating procedures. The least glamorous things in your business, and the AI is desperate for them. Here's why. Tone file tells the AI how you sound. The instructions tell it what the business is. An SOP tells it how you actually do things. That's the difference between an assistant that suggests and one that does. I'm writing 2 today. You only need a couple to start. First, how we follow our proposal. Plain bullet points, send the proposal, if no reply in 3 working days, 1 short nudge, no pressure. Day 7, a second follow-up that adds something new, a useful idea, not just checking in. Day 14, the closing the file email. Then stop. Nobody gets chased 5 times. Don't want to look desperate. That took 4 minutes to write down. You already know this procedure. It lives in your head. Move it into a file. Second SOP, how we onboard a new client. Same format, the steps, the timings, who gets what email when. If you're stuck on which 2 to write first, here's the cheat. Whatever you've explained to a new starter, a freelancer, or a virtual assistant more than twice, that's an SOP. Dictate it into your phone if writing's a pain. Tidy it up with the AI itself. And the prompt again. Now the email doesn't just sound right and know the offer, it knows where we are in the follow-up sequence and what the next step should be. It's executing my process, not improvising one. File 5, except it's not really a file, it's a folder, and it's called raw for a reason. This is where you dump real material from the business, unedited, old proposals, a decent export of sent emails, meeting notes, the questions clients actually ask. Anything that shows the business as it really is, not as the website describes it. I've put in a batch of my own sent emails, a couple of past proposals with the client name stripped out, and my notes from recent calls. 2 warnings, and they do matter. Strip out anything confidential, client names, financial details, anything you wouldn't want quoted back at you. Anonymise first, dump second. And don't organise it. Seriously, the temptation is to tidy and organise into subfolders. Don't. The AI reads the lot in seconds. Your filing system adds nothing. Why does this folder matter so much? Because everything else in the brain is your opinion of your business. The raw folder is the evidence, how you actually negotiate. What clients actually push back on. The phrases you actually use when nobody's checking the brand guidelines. Hold that thought. We're nearly at the payoff. Before the big reveal, the honest bit, because this video would be hype without it, and there's more than enough of that in this corner of YouTube. What a company brain won't do, it won't fix a broken process. If your follow-up sequence loses customers, the AI will now execute that losing sequence beautifully. The brain makes the AI match your business. It doesn't make your business right. It won't run itself. Mine takes maybe 20 minutes a month to keep current. Prices change, offers change, the files have to follow. Small cost, real cost. Doesn't make every answer correct. The model can still get things wrong with total confidence. You still read before you send. You're the editor now, not the typist. That's the win, and that's the honest size of the win. First version takes a real afternoon. 3 or 4 focused hours, mostly on the SOPs. Anyone who tells you it's 10 minutes is selling something. What you get back is every email, proposal, and piece of marketing starting at 80% done instead of naught. For me, that's hours back every week. The maths isn't subtle, but it's a setup cost, and I'd rather you knew. Right, the full before and after. This week's shiny new model on both sides. Fable 5 with no files. Generic, polite, pointless. The smartest model Anthropic have ever shipped. Writing like it's never met me. Because it hasn't. Fable 5 with the brain folder attached. Same prompt, word for word. It sounds like me. It names the real offer and the real price. It follows my follow-up SOP, step 3, because it can see where the email thread left off. I'd send this with one small edit. The model didn't change between those 2 answers, and your model won't be the thing that changes your results either. The files will. So the open loop. Which file made the biggest difference? The raw folder, not the tone of voice file everyone obsesses over, the dump of unedited real material. When I rebuilt this brain and tested the files one at a time, the raw folder moved the output more than the other 4 combined. And it makes sense when you think about it. The other files are me describing my business. The raw folder is my business. The AI works out the voice, the offer, and the process from the evidence, even where my tidy files are incomplete. There's also the one file you don't write. You export, you anonymize, you drop it in. If you start nowhere else, start there. One last thing, the brain makes the AI ready for your business. It doesn't tell you which part of the business to point it at first. That's a different question. Which workflow is leaking the most time or money, and which data fixes it? That's exactly what I find in the Close the Gap session. 45 minutes with me, then a custom report within 48 hours telling you what to fix first and what to ignore. If you want to know whether it's worth your while, there's a 2-minute quiz linked in the description. It'll tell you honestly whether you're a good fit. And if you're not, it'll say so. Build the folder this week. You can thank me later. It's just 4 files and a folder. Same AI, totally different business. See you in the next one.